Hey guys, join me in this exclusive interview with Kyle Smith, where we delve into the raw and real journey of an independent musician grinding it out in the music industry. Get ready to be inspired as Kyle shares his experiences, struggles, and triumphs on the road to success. Whether you're a fellow musician or simply a fan of great stories, this conversation is not to be missed. Hit play now and discover what it truly takes to make it as an independent artist.
Let's go. Asteroid of Fear.
There ain't no telling how to play this game. You don't really want to know.
There we are.
Hey, what the fuck is up?
Hi, buddy. What's up, Holmes?
Not much, man.
How you doing, Poppy? Good?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm very, very good. I just was gonna say I literally just got off another podcast right now
Awesome.
and came straight to you.
Cool. Yeah. Works that way
Where you based out
sometimes.
of?
What's that?
Where you based out of?
Texas, Tyler.
Yeah, nice. What's
So it's about,
Tyler?
yeah, Tyler. It's a hour and a half, 2 hours from Dallas.
Nice. I see that poster right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And check out, there's the guitar.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You signed.
Sick. That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm covering up my
Love that.
311 painting, my hand painted 311
Yeah.
poster with a Kyle Smith
Shit.
guitar. So
Damn.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate the support, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast. And today we are joined by Kyle Smith. You might
He
ask,
said, "Man of the house, what's up?"
who the fuck is Kyle Smith?
Oh
Well,
man, is that the sticker? Oh, it
it
is.
is.
Oh shit.
But
Hell yeah, thanks for repping, man.
the audience is going to find out who Kyle Smith is. But then the next question they're going to ask is, where the fuck is Kyle Smith? Because that's the new,
Um,
right?
you know what? Right now we're in Ventura, California, and this is
Yeah.
this is home for me, luckily for a few weeks. So yeah, any other day I could probably tell you somewhere different.
Well, yeah, I saw you had some new merch or something that was like, where the fuck is Kyle Smith at? I think
Yeah,
so.
so
Yeah.
I made promo tees. The whole goal of the tees was to get people to wear them at festivals. If I paid them to wear it or gave it to them for free, that
Right.
they would rep it at festies and other shows and shit. And I think it's working so far. We got about 250 out of 200 2,600 out, so we got about 10% of them out so far.
Awesome. All right. Well, here at the Men of the House, we talk about, I'm a father. I know you're not, right? But Chris is in
No,
the
no
band.
babies. Yeah,
So,
Nashida is. Yep.
yeah. So, I like to talk about fatherhood, kind of the daily grind, um,
Dang.
time alone, and mental health, because I think they all kind of tie together. And,
Okay.
one of the things kind of where you fit in, not only are you one of my favorite musicians, but, your story. It's the story that kind of started it all for me, following you
Thanks,
back in
man.
2017. And
Appreciate you, bro.
yeah, so I've followed your whole journey, and it's been interesting to say the least to see the rise. You know, it just seems like it's been kind of nuts, almost like it's happened slow but fast in a way.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
mean,
makes
I guess
sense.
from an outside view, probably pretty fast. From internally, or from my point of view, very slow. Well,
Right.
no. You know, either or.
Well,
It's
because it's kind of one of those things.
yeah,
I think like whether it's podcasting, um, music or comedy, people,
yeah.
fans, audience, they usually see the finished product. They don't see everything that went into it. All the hours of
Nope.
editing, all the, hitting pigs, um, near Lake Okeechobee and trying trying to get to the
Oh man,
trying to get to the show when you've been up for 2 days. So, nobody sees that.
yeah.
And over
Yeah.
here, I like to kind of highlight that because I think there's a certain mindset, a certain um, grit that keeps people pushing that direction. So, for me, like I admire your independence, your grind, the fuck you attitude, but mostly your authenticity and transparency. And I have a
I
little
appreciate
saying, um, I think authenticity and transparency should be the new social currency. What do you think of that?
you.
Yeah, a lot of broke
I
motherfuckers
think,
out there.
yeah. I was gonna say, I think the entire fucking world would flip upside down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your heroes would not be so high up in the books anymore.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the things, it was in one of it was like a YouTube maybe podcast or something that I watched, and um that's kind of what they had talked about. I watched the Peer episode, and people want to connect with real people, and
Yep.
they want that authenticity, that transparency. And a lot of people who don't know about you, um your posts, they're kind of like your journal, like a diary. You're
Yeah.
going to put it out there no matter what. You're going to be like, hey, this show was shitty, or this is how I'm doing. And that's kind of one of the things we like to talk about here at the Men of the House too, because I'm part of the Podcast Connection Network, and there's six of us, and we're all kind of in this mental health realm type of a thing. And so I think your Instagram posts and kind of putting it out there, sometimes you get some hate from it, but sometimes you get a lot of support. When I read the
Yeah.
comments, like if there's a hater or something, there's plenty of Kyle Smith fans that are like, eh, I don't know, this hater seems kind of off in terms of, I don't know. People will say like, oh, he ignored me, or he this or he that. And it's like, or I think the show I went to in Dallas on January 12th, didn't like some girl get kicked out of there? Like she was drunk and belligerent, and then she like posted something negative about it. Like
That happens every night.
oh, maybe I need to go to
We have
shows
somebody fall
nightly.
out pretty much every night, usually way before we go on.
Ah,
they they come to
pregame.
the show fucked up. Yeah, they come to the show fucked up, and then they just they either freak out and pass out like during the opener set, or like starting to start a fight or get kicked out or something like that. You know what I mean? It happens pretty often.
Yeah. Well,
It-
so one of the reasons that your music kind of resonates with me is I felt like it got me through a lot of hard times. Um,
Thanks, man.
in 2020, I was working in healthcare. I got laid off during the pandemic, 9 months
Yeah,
in, and it was the first job I've ever been laid off from or fired, anything like that. So it was kind of devastating in a way.
yeah,
But, I kind of let loose way too much, started drinking, shit like that. And,
yeah,
you know, it's like anytime you're doing shit like that, sometimes it's like hopping on a merry-go-round that you can't get off of,
yeah.
except you're gonna jump. And when you jump, you're gonna fucking eat shit, and it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna have to heal, you know? And
Yeah.
kind of part of my healing journey after getting off that merry-go-round um, involved you, your music, your words, your message. But one of the reasons I think it resonated and was so compelling or attractive to me was your story. So I don't want you don't have to tell the whole thing because there's plenty of people who've done great jobs on getting the information, but kind of start those, just a little bit on your addiction recovery and how that kind of led into music.
Very, very unexpectedly. So I mean, I've played guitar and sang since I played guitar and sang since I was 7 years old. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I got my first guitar when I was 7, and just always, luckily my dad, he doesn't play anything, but he's a music fanatic. Even though he's not a musician, he's still
Right.
obsessed with, songs, the process of songs, everything about music, man. And so yeah, I was just always fascinated by music at a young age. Um, you know, whatever the fuck, whatever was going on in my brain by the time I was 12, 13, whether it be, shit going on at home, things that were happening that I didn't like how they made me feel, my inability to comprehend or handle life on its own
Right.
terms, just being overly emotional growing up, which is pretty normal for any fucking 12, 13-year-old kid, with not a lot of guidance at the time. Everybody was busy, everybody had their own shit going on. So trying to figure all that shit out pretty much on your own when you're like 13, 14 is pretty fucking wild. And turning to drugs, or, anything that I could do at the time that was just like would make me forget about how I was feeling is what I did. And I would chase that shit to the end of the fucking road. So, I guess it's the typical, like, started smoking weed when I was 13, started railing lines when I was 14, started fucking, trying other crazy shit, 15, 16, spun the fucking peep out for the first time, then got into heroin. And I pretty much, started shooting dope when I was 17, and lost everything really, really quick, and had nowhere to live, no job, warrants, fucking nowhere to stay, nobody to crash with, everybody just got sick of my shit. Anybody that I came in contact with was just uh anybody that saw me avoided me, basically. So I was kind of forced in a way by police, or given a choice by the police
Right.
in Ventura County, to either go to jail or go to treatment. And I decided to go to treatment, and I tried it out, and I didn't really think that I was like actually going to stay clean or anything like that. And it's been 11 years, almost, a little over 10 years now. So when I first started doing all that, I was very, very not corporate motivated, but goal, work motivated. And I never would have thought that playing guitar or singing would be significant in my life at all.
Right.
It's not like it was something I was doing when I was like, early in recovery. It was something that I did in my living room by myself, or posted little videos of here and there. And a few people were just like, you should do something with that. I like the way you sound, or that's a cool song that you wrote. And of course, my thinking at the time was, oh fuck, no, not me. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that shit. And I think that's the way a lot of people think still to this day. So I guess when I kind of had the reversal in thinking of, why would that happen to me, to why the fuck, why not me? You know what I mean? That's when I really started taking it seriously, and I started like putting myself out there more. And really, once I was able to solidify who I am as a person, and once I was able to be confident enough to put myself out there like that, and not let the fear of rejection fucking freeze me in my fucking tracks, then I was able to put myself out there on a more intimate level, which is, posting songs that I was working on. Or,
Right.
it takes a lot for an artist, just period, just to fucking even say like, hey guys, I wrote this song. What do you think about it? You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
literally like putting your guts and your heart out there for the world to fucking shit on. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
So,
do. I do.
you gotta be like 100% cool with fucking nobody liking your shit and getting shit on and booed at and fucking, you know what I mean? I did all that shit for fucking years and years, played at restaurants and got fucking, booed, yelled at, fucking all that shit, and I didn't let it stop me, and then I got an offer to make a record, and that's when we did the whole, Dope Fiend, Criminal, all that shit, those 5 songs on that first
Hmm.
EP. And then I met the guys shortly after, and then I don't know, man. It was like ever since I feel like when we did that video, when me and Mark SoCal Trash, when we did
Hmm.
that video for Dope Fiend, is when like everything changed to like, holy fuck, maybe I got something here.
I love that song.
So yeah, so shout out to Mark, because a lot of shit this probably wouldn't be happening without him. But he he had a good following, and he was still doing his music and his SoCal Trash thing, and when he put me in front of all these like, hip hop lovers that
Mhm.
like Sublime and shit. It I don't want to say it blew up, but like we posted that Dope Fiend video and it got like 80,000 views in like 2 days, and I got so many messages and so many people hitting me up about like, how deep the track was. And I was like, fuck, maybe we should go record this shit. And then, I don't know. I feel like everything since then that has led to this point has just been like, just do the next right indicated thing and just go play the show. Go fucking go do the interview, go do the podcast,
Mhm. Yeah, no,
go, go.
I know because it's like podcasting is the same way, especially, I'm not a comedian. I don't make jokes on a podcast. You know,
Of
our podcast, I mean, we do. I do. I like to fuck around. But, it's
course.
more of a it takes a lot to
Yeah.
go on. You're going to put on YouTube and Spotify that, oh, I had an alcohol problem, you know? Um,
Yeah.
you're going to be judged, you're going to be whatever. Or,
Yeah.
or you talk about how you feel, but the other part of the podcast is kind of that letting other people know that they're not alone. You're not
Yeah.
crazy necessarily. A lot of people have these thoughts. A lot of people have struggle, and it's okay not to be okay. And it's just
Yep.
as well okay to be okay. Both have
Yep.
their time and place, but and that's kind of goes back to that authenticity and transparency thing is there's especially since the pandemic, there people are hungry for truth because everybody felt like they were lied to.
Yeah.
And so, they want truth. They don't want to be bullshitted. Um, and I think that's kind of one of the things you exemplify. And part of us in the Podcast Connection Network, that's all of us. It's the same thing. We're truth seekers. But also in wanting to just kind of make a difference, one person at a time. We're all different people and messages resonate different with different people. And
Yep.
but it's really about, getting a message out there, similar to music. And you kind of go by this, well, if it helps one person or gets one person through their day, then fuck it, it's worth it. And people can come at me or, like you say, come at you with the hate, but it's for that authenticity. But, they're not the ones willing to put it out there. So it's kind of like, who are they to judge and kind of fuck them in a way,
Yeah.
So
100% fuck them.
I like it. I love it. I love 100. And that was kind of one of those things I noticed in some of the interviews was, um, I need a little more of that. Where do you get that? Where did you get that acceptance of self that
Mm.
you're confident enough to just go, fuck it, fuck you. I don't care. I'm gonna do my thing. I don't care if you like it or not. And I'm gonna say
Uh,
what I want, play what I want, do what I want. I'm not gonna, you're a lot of people don't know you're independently, you do your own thing. You do it your own way. You're fucking grinding it out. This is not the 90s Guns N' Roses. You go to LA and go to the big record tower building and play a song and
yeah.
sign a deal and they
Yeah.
put you on a tour
Yeah.
bus and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
So it's
Um,
where you get that.
I think just having a sense of having a sense of urgency, but I do think that being so fucking low, so young and being, on so many like near death fucking experiences like real at 19, 20, I think it's very eye opening as to we think that we have a fake audience. We have like this fake audience in our head, right? Like everybody's watching us, everybody cares about what we're doing. Like if I fuck this up, there's going to be all these people that are going to shit on me. And I mean, it's really like, who the fuck's going to remember? Like if you fuck up, who's going to remember if you bomb, you know what I mean? The only thing that people are going to remember is what good you did, and and I don't know, man. I think I think where do I get the self-acceptance? Fuck, that's heavy. I think doing my program
Hmm.
and the steps and everything, I do the whole 12-step fellowship, all that shit, all that stuff that people hate and think is culty. I do that, and I think that that's one of the most freeing things I've ever done in my fucking life was, telling everybody my shit or telling another human my shit and things that I thought that I would take to the grave and just like airing out all my dirty laundry.
Yeah.
I think that is a big part of it. I think that having faith in a higher power or believing that there is something, as long as I'm living within the will of whatever you believe in, you know what I mean? I don't really
Hmm.
have like a God or specific fucking anything like that, but I believe in something and I don't know
Right.
exactly what it is, and it's okay if I never know what it is, but as long as my will is aligned with that, that there's nothing that anybody can do that can make me feel bad about what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? And if I'm, trusting my intuition and I believe that if I do everything like if I move through this fucking music industry shit like with dignity and with integrity and I'm not fucking people for money and I'm not like trying to push others down to try to make myself look better and if I'm not doing all this weird shit that like other people do out of fear that all my needs will be met and that whoever tries to fucking throw shade on me just usually gets like fucking like I don't want to say annihilated, but like usually people get put to bed pretty fucking quick when they try to talk bad about me or any of my guys. So I guess that's the only thing that would have ever hindered me before would just be the fear of what people think. And when you get really close to death, you don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And when I really, really stopped caring about that shit when I got confident in myself and when I became more secure in my own skin. And I think that just staying clean and doing the right thing and trusting my higher power and those 4 or 5 things, trying to do my best to live spiritually and not lie or cheat or steal and
Right.
fucking fuck anybody. And I think I think if I'm doing all those things to the best of my ability, that it removes that fear.
Yeah.
If I am living this fucking life that I try to, if I try to just be as good as I can to everybody, that it'll all balance out and that, it completely removes the fear of like, oh, what did I do to this person? Because I think I just made a fucking post about this today. Like when I was fucking up and when I was bad and when I was, lying to people and cutting corners,
Hmm.
if they said something about me, I'd freak out because I'd have to worry like, oh, well, who knows what? You know what I mean? Who knows? What did I say to this person? What did I say to this person? But I think that living a little better and doing your best to stay within spiritual principles really removes that fear of like, you can say whatever the fuck you want to me, bro. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my music out. I'm gonna put my songs out. I don't give a fuck who does or doesn't like it. I don't give a fuck what you have to say about my fucking voice, my appearance, my whatever you can find. If some miserable fuck is that fucking sad to where they have to fucking throw shade at somebody who's going after their dreams and grabbing their fucking nuts and saying fuck it and trying to do what they want to do before they die, if you're that fucking sad that you fucking have to talk bad about somebody trying to do that, then your fucking opinion is worthless anyways. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I don't give a fuck who doesn't like what I do, man. I really don't.
That's so awesome. And it's crazy. You know, I it's interesting to me because I think people listening would hear this and I think people who don't know who they are, they would make it would seem kind of threatening. Oh man, that guy, he's like, he don't give a fuck and I'm afraid to step to
No,
him. But the difference
no,
is
hell no,
people who
not
don't
at
know
all.
you is that
Bro, I'm fucking
you're the
5'8", dude.
yeah, but you're
I'm
also
five.
like you're the most kind, caring person is kind of what I'm saying is you're it's kind of that dichotomy is it sounds like one way, like listeners might say, oh, maybe he's like rough, but it,
No,
you know, but I know because I've seen you 3 times.
no,
You're a
I'm
nice
Cincinnati
guy.
Valley. Like, I think saying like, oh, I don't give a fuck what people think. Of course
Yeah.
I like. Of course I want people to think good of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
We all do.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if I, if I'm doing everything I can, then I don't have anything to fucking worry about. So
Yeah. Because it's kind of one of those things of I think people who live within those kind of spiritual guidelines, boundaries that you're talking about, trying to have integrity, you know, you don't go out trying to fuck up or make a mistake. I worked in an ER for
Keyword
6 years.
keyword is trying. That's the keyword, trying.
Yeah.
I always make sure we include trying to live within spiritual principles, trying to have integrity, because I don't ever want to sound like a fucking, oh, I'm
Yeah.
fucking this and I'm that, because I fuck up every day, bro. I still do fucking wild ass. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No, yeah, no. I think it's one of those, and that's kind of the thing is, I mean, one of the things we discussed too is like fuck perfection. It's really about daily progress, kind of just try to be a little bit better every day. Um,
Yep.
you know, and if you fuck up, just own it and move on, and
Yeah.
try to learn something from it, try to correct it. But do you find, I've met less of your audience, of course, but do you find that do people tell you their stories?
Oh yeah, every night.
And you have
Every
some that are
single night,
similar
yes.
to yours.
Every single night.
Okay.
Multiple.
And that's what resonates.
I think, well, yeah, it's part of it,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think I've ever, I don't want to sound like like an idiot or an asshole, but I don't think I've ever like performed and then bounced once. You know what I mean? Like I get off the stage. There's been moments where I get off the stage and I go put on like a dry shirt in the green room real quick, but then I come back out. But I don't think I've ever, I mean, if somebody, I'm sure somebody will try to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever performed or played at a venue or played in any situation where people came to see us and I didn't like, if it was at a big festival, I'm walking around with the crowd. If it was at one of my shows, I'm staying at the merch table till every fucking person's gone. And usually when I do that, which is 99% of the time, at least, two, three people will say, "Hey man, I have fucking 2 years clean and thank you for doing what you do." And I'm just like, holy shit, that's fucking insane. So whatever, even when I think I'm being selfish and I'm just fucking doing, going through the motions or whatever, like you never know what just doing what you feel like you were born to do. Uh I don't know. Either that or I might just be super lucky that I'm in a spot where I get to like fucking be that, do that for a living.
Yeah, no, I think I'd venture to say it's your purpose because, I mean, um, yeah, like I said, and I'm sure there's so many people that relate to you the same way I do, and that um, during my tough times, knowing your backstory and knowing that, hey, he did this and look what he's doing, and it doesn't necessarily, I'm not a musician. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be one. So, but it's the concept that it wouldn't matter what you were doing. If you were a musician or you were
Yep.
selling medical equipment, you're going to bring those same principles, that same kind of spirit, go getter attitude, um, find a solution kind of way to whatever you're doing. You're It just happens to be so that you get to be a musician and you have a gift of writing your words and playing music,
Thanks,
and
man.
they have meaning, and they resonate far beyond, I think, the show. And because it was really the lyrical content and messages whenever, like, I stopped drinking, and there was like a point where man, it was like COVID, all the shit at the same time, and quit drinking. And like your body was just in the throes. But once I got over that, just started basic walks, built a
Yeah.
playlist, walking my path, living my truth, and all your albums are on there. And then, of course, similar stuff. We got the elevators, and,
Hell yeah.
you know, um, I think that's one of the things that you bring, um, that kind of makes you special. And
Thank-
but the other part of it is just your unrelentless drive. And so I know you probably started off playing the open mics, some
Yep.
acoustic stuff, and then,
That's it.
I heard the story that what Scotty B brought Chris over to the garage, like, hey, let's practice and let's play, or you
Yep.
know, and you guys were kind of doing some local stuff, and then you took off. What year did you take off in the Tacoma? I call it
Yep.
now that you got the new place, I call it the Tacoma tours.
2021.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
it almost seems like it was further back, you
Yeah.
know?
Uh, well, we started doing like some NorCal shit, some Central Cali stuff. We started doing like the weekend warrior missions like before COVID, 2018, we started like playing, we would go up to like Sacramento for, we'd do a Sacramento show and then we'd drive back same night, you know what I mean? Shit like that. So it got to the point to where I was like, this is when I was in a Honda Accord and I didn't have any merch, you know what I mean? I just
Right.
threw my shit and I just brought an amp and a guitar and everybody drove their own cars and everybody drove their own cars, brought their own instruments. We all met at whatever fucking bar. I think one of the big ones that we used to do all the time was the Sandbar in Santa Barbara, California. And we used to drive up there, like, so I would get off work at 2:30. I would drive straight to Santa Barbara and load in at 4:30. It's like an hour-ish drive. Well, I guess technically an hour and a half from where I was working. So I'd get there at 4:30. We'd set up. We'd play from like 7 to 10 p.m. and then we'd get out of there. Um, Sometimes it would be 7 to 10 p.m. and then I would literally drive straight from Santa Barbara back to the parking lot of my work and then sleep in my car for like 3 hours and then go back into the office at 5:30 a.m. Because we started work super early because I was in sales, so we would always hit up our East Coast clients in the morning. So yeah, so there was that period where I was in the Honda Accord, literally like sleeping in the parking lot regularly, just to be able to play the show or to meet the guy or to show up in LA wherever. And that was like when I met like the Stupid Guys and started like hanging with John Phillips and shit, who's helped out a lot along the way. And I was basically willing to do anything just to fucking show my face somewhere.
Right.
And I dropped the EP in like late 2017, early 2018, and I was doing hand deliveries by myself to anybody that would fucking buy it. And I was driving all over Southern California, literally just to fucking give people CDs and to sell them for $5-10 a pop, just because I wanted my music out there. It's not like I was making any money off the shit. So there was that whole like 2-3 years where I did that pretty consistently, and then worked all the way through COVID because we're a essential business, medical devices.
Yeah.
So luckily I never got fucking put out of work. And I was able to sort of almost save a little bit of money, to be honest, by not touring because I wasn't making any money with music at the time. So when everything shut down, I was saving all this money and I bought a bunch of recording equipment and then I started working on like Seven Sins and Suits and all
Hmm.
that shit. Lost Cause, all those songs. And then we started touring in the Tacoma right after that. I'm sorry, I got the Tacoma like a few months before that album dropped, and then once Lost Cause dropped, it was like I'm barely hanging on to my fucking day job. You know what I mean? Like I'm like missing days of work. I'm getting fucking, I'm like starting to play these bigger festivals. We're starting to get on, we got on Cali Vibes Fest, and then we would play Cali Roots, and it would be like fucking 700 people singing my shit. And then I'd go back to the cubicle, like, hey, motherfucker, get back on the phone. What are you doing? You know what I mean? And going from hanging on, being on Slightly Stupid's bus, fucking shooting the shit with everybody to back in a cubicle, made me just fucking, it motivated me more than ever to just never fucking go back. And it was a great job, amazing people.
Right.
I still talk to my boss like almost every fucking month. Amazing guy. I wouldn't be here without him. And I after we opened for the Marleys at Cali Vibes Fest, I was like, hey man, that thing we were talking about, it's fucking time now. So he worked with me. He slowly weaned me off. I gave all my accounts to everybody else in the office, and then I think like after a month and a half of that shit, it was like my final last fucking day, and then we just went hard. Tacoma for 2 years straight after that.
How was that? You said like you see 700 people singing your shit and you're like, back to the cubicle. Even though you knew it was the right thing to do to get out of the
Yeah.
cubicle and take that step and go, fuck it, I'm going to burn the bridge and it's strictly music now. How did you manage the anxiety of that? Because like I podcast,
Oh,
I don't
dude.
make any money podcasting yet, but I Uber on the side, but it's like you don't make any money unless you go out and do it.
Yep.
So it's not that corporate model is kind of like basically, you're getting paid to show up. If you can make it through your 40 hours, kind of like you get a check. But
Right.
when you're kind of the hustle you have, and kind of what I'm doing, if you don't go out and get it or find it or ask for it, you don't get it. And it can cause a lot of anxiety. How did you manage that? Did you have tools from like AA, NA, or anything like that? Or is it something you kind of develop through, whether it's working the steps, or were you just anxious as fuck? And because I did get your quote as bite off more than you can chew and
You're like, fuck.
shoot like fuck. Or was it that kind
Um,
of mentality as opposed to
it's always,
anxiety and worrying about it? You're just like, fuck it, let's.
yeah. If I throw everything that I fucking can at it, deep down in my heart, if I know that I did everything I could do, then I'm not fucking scared, you know? Um, Also, what was very important for me at the time was waiting until I knew that it was going to be fucking realistic, not leaving the job too early, not, you know what I mean? Like I really waited for fucking, I killed myself working both for years until I knew that maybe the music thing would be at a somewhat sustainable fucking point, and I didn't leave until, until we were like selling tickets, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And to get anybody to show up and see you, you got to be fucking, making records and whatever it is that people, whatever it is that people want to come see us. I still have yet to this day try to figure it out. Maybe I'm just too critical about my own music, like all artists are. But
yeah,
whatever, whatever it is that brings people to our shows, I had to make sure that that was sustainable before I ever even thought. Like Chris and Scotty, they stopped working way before I did. You know what I mean? Like they quit their jobs fucking way before, and there was a period where I was like envious. I'm like, fuck, dude, I want to like sleep. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Oh, I
I
know.
like sleep. You know.
Me too.
But I had to do what I had to do, and to get things. My goal when I left the job was, all right. Like I did all the math, I did all the fucking, I analyzed everything, and I was like, if I leave this fucking job, which is paying me about 45 a year, then I will have to play this many shows every month and sell this amount of merch to make up for the income that I'm losing by fucking working my day job. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that being very, very precise about that helped relieve some anxiety, and just knowing exactly what having a fucking plan. And
Intent.
yeah, very, very intent, and not knowing, instead of just like, oh, fuck, I hope this works out. Like knowing, like, no, like if I do this, and this, it will be exactly fucking fine, and really just trying to have like a entrepreneurial mindset about everything, instead of like, fuck, I hope this works out, like I had to have a plan,
Yeah.
I
I
had to
think
have a plan and a
acting
goal.
acting with intention or being
Yeah.
intentional about what you're wanting to do and accomplish, I think is it's super important.
The
You
goal was 15 shows a month.
Not too bad.
That
Although,
was the goal when I left.
wow.
It's a
How many
lot.
how many are you doing now per month?
About the same.
About the same?
About the same. We're making a little more money now, so that's good. But I would say that on average we're like 1 month on and 1 month off usually.
Yeah.
Average, or maybe 1 month on, 3 weeks off, or 5 weeks on, 3 weeks off every 2 months. So yeah, I'm trying to do bigger shows and less of them, slowly but surely, the more that we do this shit.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I would like to.
I've seen you
I would
three
like
times and each time you're moving up. I've seen the
Thanks, man.
Tacoma. I've
Yeah.
seen, I could tell like when you signed my daughter's guitar, you were more available. The second show I went to, I could just see how much you had grown. And even though you had signed my daughter's guitar and been friendly, I think I said hi to you and stuff, but I was like, I don't want to bother him because I know there's a lot more people like wanting that attention. And so for me, I'm like, I know I'll see him again. And, because I'm that way, I don't want to be, I don't know. I like, it's nice to meet people, but also I don't want to come off kind of as a crazy person, if that makes sense.
Not at
Like
all.
some
Asking me
people
to
are,
sign a guitar ain't crazy at all. I would say that you don't know that you're gonna see me again, you know?
yeah,
None of us know that we're gonna see each other again,
I do.
Make the most of every fucking second, man, we never know. We never know. Sometimes, I can't tell you how many times I've fucking been to a show and it's like, man, I wish I would have fucking taken the time while he was alive to you know what I mean? Like shit like that. I wish I would have just not cared what people thought and just said, hey man, I wish I wasn't scared to fucking bug him and I just fucking said what was on my mind, so
That's crazy. I've never
I
seen it
encourage you
from your point of view.
next time I
Um,
encourage you to fucking grab me and do whatever you gotta do if you want to say what's up.
uh, will do.
Yep.
Um, so, when we talk about kind of like mental health, stress, this, that, the other, there's a couple things I picked up on, and I want to kind of tie them into touring because
Okay.
tour is the daily grind.
Okay.
Now, I grew up an only child, so
Yep.
I'm perfectly fine being by myself. That's why you saw me at the show alone. I go to
Yep.
shows solo.
Yep.
I'm kind of this mindset that just because somebody doesn't want to go with me or can't go, I'm robbing myself of a good time
Yeah. Fuck
because
that.
I'm insecure or I feel like I need to have somebody with me. But like I went and saw Lenny Kravitz solo. I've been to big festivals solo. It's like you're gonna be listening to the music, and if you're if you vibe right, you're gonna meet people, you know?
Yeah.
So
You're
why worry
surrounded by
about
thousands
going
of other
in?
people that like what you like.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the thing is like, I did a podcast after the show on the 12th.
Hey, this is Ethan from the Nonchalant Perfectionist Podcast. Give my podcast a listen, as well as so many others at the Podcast Connection Network. Over here, man, we're all about mental health and holistic wellness. The link will be in the description. Enjoy the show.
The VIP experience, like it hadn't, not the poster, not this, not that. It was about the people, the other people there, the way you brought everyone together and kind of the activities. And anytime I say that, I never say what it is because
Yeah.
I want to encourage people to get the VIP if they can, because I thought it was way worth it in so many more ways of just like getting to hear you play a song or getting a poster. Like, yes, I like that stuff. But the other people in the VIP, I still talk to one of them,
Nice.
but I met a lot of good people there. And so I don't mind going alone, but I met the people. But you mentioned on one podcast that you don't mind whether it's going hiking, any of that. You're willing to go alone, solo.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And so you said, I also read maybe somebody interviewed you and said if you weren't a musician, you'd probably be a biologist or a marine biologist or something. Maybe some,
Marine biology. Yep. I was fascinated. I mean, I still am. I love the ocean, but
but
uh,
nature is one of those things that kind of gives you that peace and calm, I would say.
yeah. I mean, fuck, man. I feel like I've just, 4 years ago, I was just like, anytime I wasn't touring, I was like up in the mountains somewhere. And then lately, it's just been like, all these fucking deadlines that I've been setting for myself and recording. And there's just
Hmm.
always some shit where I literally like can't be where there's no service lately. And thank you for reminding me because I think that's a big part of what I'm missing in my life right now. And yes, it has always been very, very beneficial for me to be in complete fucking silence and solitude and up, anywhere by myself. But it could just be, you know, it's more about the confidence and the ability to be alone more than, where, anybody can go hiking by themselves, but who can like go sit down and fucking take themselves to dinner and like not worry about what the other
Yeah.
people in the restaurant think, you know what I mean? Like I take myself to movies, I fucking go get breakfast by myself.
Me too.
Like I will go see a motherfucking SpongeBob movie by myself. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't care who sees me.
I actually, so the podcast Men of the House is kind of a thought I had at the Waffle House, and that's why it's called Men of the House. But my thing is when we go out of town, we
Yep.
travel, I go to the Waffle House
Yep.
alone. I don't want my
Yeah, fuck
wife, I
yeah.
don't want my kids. I want to sit at the
Yeah.
counter. And my idea behind the podcast was like I'm sitting there and there's like another guy over here, another guy over there, and I'm like, okay, we're three dudes sitting here all having our breakfast, but it's I'm want some fucking peace and quiet. I
Yep.
want some solitude. What does
Yep.
this guy want? Does he have a wife and kid? Is he a long haul trucker? What's the story? And I was like, maybe I'll write a book. And then kind of podcasting, I was like, I can talk. This is the medium, maybe more so than writing a book now with AI and whatnot. But, I love solitude, but there's just so many people that they're like, there's no way they would ever go by themselves and eat dinner, sit in a booth.
Right. Right.
They're just not comfortable with themselves. And um, that's kind of one of the things that's stood out in that I'm very similar, that I don't feel
Yeah.
like I need any of that. But have you had any opportunities while touring on days off and whatnot to see some great nature walks or, you know,
Yeah.
does it
Yeah.
afford
I
you
mean,
that?
the crazier that touring gets, the less we get to see. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
more the bigger the shows are, the more demanding the schedules are. The bigger the following gets, the more we're just like from city to city to city. Back in 4 years ago, it would have been we'd play a show every other day, and have days off and be able to fuck around and go see like Yellowstone or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we get breaks from tours or when we get to do a long drive home after a tour if we're not like pressed for time, which is rare. Usually, me left to my own devices, I'll go fucking anywhere and do anything. But I have a bass player with a kid
Right.
and a drummer with a wife, and and that's they have to get the fuck home. You know what I mean? So whenever we finish tour, if they do not like what I want to do, they'll fly and I'll drive back from
Oh,
like Ohio or whatever. So they'll like bounce and I'll take my time coming home and go through Yellowstone or go through fucking Wyoming or pretty much anywhere that I want to see that I've been thinking about for a while. So um I used to do a lot more before I started touring. I don't want to make it sound bad, but I used to see a lot more before I started touring. I used to leave every weekend straight up to the Sierras or somewhere cool, man. And I think it's just my body being tired, from touring so much. And I just want to rest whenever I'm at home. Before I was cooped up in an office, and I would want to be out every second that I could. And now I'm out every second that I can, dying to be fucking cooped up somewhere, you know?
unless of course, like you're in the Tacoma for 16 hours, I'm sure that's got to be
Yeah.
how is that dynamic? How do you guys kind of keep up, you know, or if you get in a funk, how do you turn it back around? I mean,
Um, well, I mean, we're in a van now. So
right.
game changer as of January. Fucking complete game changer. We're all like 4 more feet away from each other. So that really helps. Because it's just like being brothers, man. You know what I mean? Like no matter how much you love each other, I love Chris and Scott more than anybody on the fucking planet. And we all have our days where we're like, fuck, dude, fucking leave me alone. Get out of here. Get away from me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I won't lie about that. I mean, they'll tell you the same shit. We all fight like brothers, and we haven't had any crazy shit where we're like socking each other or anything, but we've had like moments where we're on stage or at the venue at 3:30, and we're like, "Hey man, shut the fuck up, let me do this shit." Like we have days like that. So ever since we got in the van, we're like another 4 feet away from each other's fucking faces, and it really, really helps with our sanity. And if somebody's like if somebody's like in a bad mood or pouting or whatever, you're like 5 feet away from them and you don't have to pay any attention to it. So letting whoever wants to be in a bad mood be in their own shit, and including myself when I'm fucking
Right.
having a bad, rough day or whatever, like we're all like just that much further away from each other to where we don't drive each other fucking completely insane. So what was the actual question? The original question
Well,
was
kind of like how do you when somebody has a bad mental health day,
Ah,
how do you turn it back around? I mean, because well, I mean, you're a cohesive group, but
we get over it so fast.
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
learned.
The cool, yeah, well, I mean, the cool thing about everybody being adults and basically my whole team fucking doesn't really drink and everybody's pretty sober for the most. I mean, the
Right.
guys, smoke weed. Everybody smokes
Yeah.
weed. But everybody smokes weed. You know, mushrooms, stuff like that occasionally. But for the most part, nobody drinks. Nobody's over emotional. Nobody like, if we have a beef or an argument, it's like settled within fucking 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And it's usually at like 7 in the morning. You know what I mean? It's usually at like
Yeah.
7 a.m. when we went to bed at 3 and have to be up at 7 because we have a 9 hour drive to the next city that we got to be in by 3:30 p.m.
Oh,
Um, and then we do another whole 8 hours of work there. So days like that when the drives are really, really long is usually when we have horrible fucking moments like that where we just want to rip each other's fucking heads off. But it only lasts for like an hour, you know?
yeah. I know,
Yeah.
and I see you post sometimes. I mean, I see you guys, you're able to hit skate parks sometimes and whatnot.
Fuck yeah. Fuck
And
yeah. All
so
the time. All the
I
time.
think that plays probably, maybe you're not able to get out and go for a hike, but kind of
Yeah.
relieving some of that stress
Yeah.
um
We
helps.
love skating.
Do you find that, and I noticed that what you and Chris started hitting the gym more so on
Yeah.
tour?
This last run we fucking slacked, man. But that January tour we were on like every morning for like 21 days in a row. And then yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened with this last one. I think the drives were just too gnarly for us to even have the time.
Yeah.
But it just depends on the drive and how much time we have to get to the next city. If we can sleep another hour, then we're gonna take advantage of that and rest. But if we're an hour away from the venue or whatever, then we just fucking wake up at a normal time and go to the gym first before we start our day, depending on whatever Planet Fitness is around.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, do you feel like doing those kinds of things? I mean, I'm sure it's got to be hard to maintain any sense of
Oh,
normalcy on tour.
yeah, yeah, it's outlaw life, dude.
And that's kind of the thing, like for me, like, being put in one place,
Yeah,
one of the benefits I have is that I don't really have a routine. I stay up late, kind of wake up early because my daughter goes to school,
yeah,
but I'm able to go to the gym and shit like that, kind of stuff that you may not always get to do because you're driving. And
yeah,
I find that if I don't have something like that, I get pissy, short, um,
yeah.
you know, and do you have anything else that you guys do that's kind of fun that takes the edge off when you're not able to do that? I mean, I know you're a fan of Mad Libs,
Performing, man, performing.
performing.
The show cures all. You know what I mean?
I thought about that the last show, was because I was like, I don't know what it was. Maybe because I Uber or I seen something about like a long ass drive, maybe a post
Yeah.
of yours or something, and I was like, you have to rage because that's the only fucking time you're not sitting
Yep.
strapped in with a seatbelt or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like you need to get out there and get it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's truth and it's right and not correct because we you know our lack of sleep on tour is just insane. And up to about a month ago it was me doing all the driving and switching off with KP when I was like my merch girl when I was like totally fucking miserable. I would let her take over, but as far as maneuvering the trailer and stuff, like there's only a handful of us that can do that. And um, what was I gonna say? It's a lot more tiring than it seems driving for 6 hours when you've been sleeping for four, and then your work day starts after a six. Most people will like drive 6 hours in a day and be like, "Oh, it was a long day." So we drive 6, 7 hours, and then we start our work day. So every morning we're up and out at like 8:30. We drive 6 hours, 6, 7 hours to the next town. We get there at 3:30. We load everything in. We sound check. We I do VIPs usually at 6, so I'm playing and singing for 30 minutes, which is fucking gnarly. And then I talk with everybody for an hour before the show, and then we give it everything we can on stage, and then I talk with everybody for an hour after the show. And just the fact that my voice fucking works at all is a miracle. And especially when you're just yelling at everybody over loud music and exhausting yourself. It's a lot to be on all the time, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't underestimate just the interaction and just being there at the show for so many days in a row. I wouldn't take it lightly, you know? So when what seems like us being cooped up is actually the only time where we are not going nuts, is when we're either in the car or sleeping, you know. Other than that, we're fucking on and live and interacting like on, you know. So yeah, usually the guys fucking just pass the fuck out in the car. I'm like too caught up in emails and texts and fucking all these flyers that I need to make and tour announcements I need to do and shit that I need to fix with the website. And I'm like doing all this shit while we're driving in between every city, you know. So it gets pretty gnar.
What, so when you first thought this is what I'm gonna do, and now you're actually doing it, how different is it?
It's pretty much exactly what I thought it was gonna be.
Okay, so you thought it would
Yeah.
be the grind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I basically expect to eat shit for like 10 years before anything like huge happens, you know. So we're 5 years in now. We're halfway there. I knew
What
that when I started doing this shit, I was like, this is gonna take a decade for things to blow up, you know.
well, what keeps you going?
Um, what keeps me going? Fuck,
Because
just
that would kind of burn out. I mean, most people I would think would give up. Like, people have this idea of like they want to be a musician, they want to go on tour, they think it's all the fun, 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 but the reality
um
is it's a grind.
the vision that I have in my head every single fucking minute of us being at Red Rocks or in amphitheaters or on tour with Slightly Stupid or Pepper or something like that. The vision that I have in my head of that, um, that I it's just how I see. It's just it has to fucking happen. You know what I mean? Like there's no other fucking way, you know. And I will do whatever the fuck it takes to get there, you know. And whatever it takes. That's just all it is, you know. It's just period, you know. How bad do you fucking want it? Are you willing to do fucking anything? If you are literally willing to do fucking anything, you will get it, you know. And I'm fucking willing to do whatever it takes. And I've sacrificed, you know, I've sacrificed my health, my well-being, my relationships, like time that I'll never get back with people that I love, you know, shit like that, man. It's you really have to just be all fucking in, you know. So I think that you know, not having any things tie me down at home is very important. Not having kids is very important. You know, for me personally.
Right.
All these things that allow facilitate the possibilities, or I guess all these things that kind of help provide an environment where I'm able to do this, are very, very important, and I take very seriously. So I just, you know, I make sure that I stay. This has to come first before anything. You know. Well, I mean, technically, my recovery comes first before
Right.
anything. Without
Well,
my recovery, this shit doesn't exist. You know.
and kind of tying the recovery in with that, with your profession as a musician, um, and the fact that it is just so demanding. What do
Yeah.
you get out of it? I mean, is it a sense of fulfillment? Is it the stories you hear from people? Is it people saying, "Man, I made it through this because of you," or what? What? It's an awful lot of work. An awful lot of work.
Yeah.
How does it?
What makes
Where
what
do,
makes it worth it?
for you, and what do you get from it? How does it fulfill you?
Um, hmm. I
Does it
think
make
it's just. I think I get off on. I think I get off on fucking on imagining shit and then making it real. You know. I think that is my new fucking drug, is having an idea and making it real, or having a vision and then it becoming reality. You know, I think that's my new fucking drug, man. And so, whether it's, you know, taking an idea for a song and printing it into something that's going to be in the universe forever, which is awesome. Or, you know, I grew up doing fucking drugs and like listening and jamming to Slightly Stoopid, you know what I mean? Like 15, 16, trying all these fucking drugs and like playing on top of I literally found this picture of me, like literally today I found this fucking photo of us, me and my buddy Landon playing on a fucking dumpster behind what do you call it? Behind Quiznos in high school. And just thinking about how much we fucking thinking, like, this kid, look at this shit. Look at that little short
Holy
haired.
cow.
So that's me on the right, and that's Landon on the left with the fucking guitar. And that's us fucking tagging dumpsters and fucking sitting back there talking about how cool it would be to play with Slightly Stoopid one day, you know?
Wow.
And here, you know, we're playing festies, we're doing all the shit, you know, and I don't know, man. You know, Miles coming to our show in July last year and singing Officer with us was like, holy fuck, you know what I mean? Like, this is the craziest shit ever, you know?
I saw a
So,
picture you posted with Charlie Tuna.
yeah, Charlie coming to our show the other night, you know,
How
just
cool was that?
that was fucking crazy. He's so nice, man. I love that dude. You know, he's fucking real, man. You know, he's real.
Right.
There's a lot of people you meet, and there's so many motherfuckers you meet in this game, bro, that are just like, you know, they're just like, oh yeah, you know, for sure, yeah. And then when they are alone, they're like, ugh, you know. Tuna is 100% fucking real and about it, and what you see is what you get, man. And I love that dude, and he's you know, he's real, man. He's
I
dope.
had a thought. I was like, you agreeing to do this podcast with me is like my equivalent of that picture,
Oh, you're crazy, man.
you
Hey,
know, of,
shit, dude.
well, not, but you know, you have to remember that, you know, you don't see yourself the same way that other people see you.
That's
And
true.
whenever I'm being, whenever I reflect back of, man, I was a shitty person, I was this, I was that, or I fucked up big time. Um, or you think maybe your worth is less. I go, you know, but then somebody sees something else and you're like, you have to remember, we're our harshest critics and we see ourselves because we know what we're capable of. We know how low we can go. Do you feel like, and this is kind of one of these things I've thought of, each level you reach, I go like, okay, I get to do this out of my daughter's old playroom.
Okay.
Each level, like you went from acoustics to this to that,
Okay.
is more work, right?
As far
Every
as
time you level up, like everybody always wants to level up because they think when they level up, like, I reached another level, it's going to be good. But I always say when you reach the next level, that's when the real fucking work begins.
more money, more problems, baby.
Yeah.
More money, more problems. Biggie was fucking 1000% correct. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's I'm what you know, every time you think that, you know, oh, if I get to this next level, things are gonna get easier, but it's the same insanity, just on a larger scale, you know.
Oh, I like that.
So, you
Same
know, it's the
insanity
same
on a larger scale.
yeah. So, you know, if we're you know, if I think that, like, oh, if I sold 400 more tickets, then you know, if I sold 300 more tickets, then I would have you know, a tour manager or security, and this wouldn't be a problem. And you think like all this shit, and then like when you fucking sell more tickets, it's just more fucking, you know, more insanity. There's more things to worry about. There's more people there. There's more things to deal with. There's more, you know, more, you need more privacy, you know, like the bigger the shit gets, the more it's kind of fucked. Cause it's like, I love people so much, but at the same time, the bigger that the shows get, the more I'm like, hey dude, we can't be playing in fucking venues without green rooms anymore, because it'll never stop. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if we can't have like a venue where there's like an artist only area, like I will never be able to do anything, because I will sit there until every single last fucking person said what they wanted to say to me, and I won't fucking tell anybody like I gotta go, which is a blessing and a curse, because it's like I don't know. I'm a bit of a people pleaser, and I tend to, even if I'm about to piss myself or shit my fucking pants, I'm like sitting there like, oh, tell me more about your cousin that used to know Sublime. You know what I mean? Like, tell me, I want to listen. Tell me the story, and I'm like dying on the inside. But the more people that come to shows, the more that shit is bound to happen. And if I think that just selling more tickets is going to solve everything, it's like, if I'm not happy with the way everything is right now, like I'm in the state of mind right now where it's like, be grateful that things are small right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be very, very grateful that you can fucking sneak out and fucking go pee when you need to go pee at the venue, because one day if things get to the point to where you want them to be, it will not be like that. You won't be able to go anywhere, do fucking anything. You know what I mean? But like I would never want to be like famous. That would, I would for sure be one of those motherfuckers that goes mental. You know what I mean?
Or go
If
up
I
to
got
the
famous,
mountains.
oh dude, yeah. If I got famous, I would for sure like, I would do some, I would disappear off the face of the fucking earth, and I'd be wearing disguises and shit. But because I don't know, it's like even just like even just going to festivals now, like before I like 3 years ago I could walk around at a festival and maybe get like a few people, oh hey Kyle, you know what I mean, Kyle Smith, who the fuck is Kyle Smith, and now it's like if I go out into the area at the festival, like people will just start lining up, and it will just and people will just start lining up to take pictures and shit, you know what I mean, and it won't stop until I like have to leave. It won't stop until somebody is like, hey, that's like having a tour manager or whatever.
Right.
It will not stop until somebody comes and intervenes and is like, hey, he has to be on stage in fucking 3.5 minutes, so we gotta go, I'm so sorry, because I'll sit there and smile all fucking day and take as many pictures as you want.
What's your favorite song to play
Favorite song to play of mine?
live?
Probably On My Way.
And what's your favorite album song to listen to of yours?
My favorite albums, favorite song to listen to, like when I'm hearing it back. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Probably probably On My Way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's like it's my favorite. It's my baby, one of my favorite songs I've written, just because I like completely recorded and mixed and mastered it all on my own, and it's exactly how I want it to be, So yeah, that's probably one of the bigger ones. So I maybe hear my own recordings now like once every 2 years, if it
Yeah.
like pops up while I'm at somebody's house or some shit, you know what I mean? Or if we're at a party and they put on like Cali Reggae Radio, and if nobody there knows who I am, but my song comes on and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it happens all the time. And when I do, it's like, oh fuck, I haven't heard like we played this shit so much that I haven't actually heard the studio version of it in like 2 or 3 years,
Oh yeah.
So because we play everything so differently live, so when I hear that one come on, I'm like, this is actually pretty dope, and for me to kind of step outside of myself instead of just like, when I finish a song, I don't want to hear it ever. When I finish a fucking, when I finally put a lid on a song and I've listened to it 7,000 times and like played with every single EQ of every single fucking syllable of the entire fucking track, making sure that everything is as good as it can be, I'm like, get that shit away from me. I don't want to fucking listen to it for 2 years. You
got some new tunes coming out. What you had posted, what you were home for a little break, trying to work on an album.
Yeah. I mean, I've been chipping away at this shit for 3 years. So, I guess ever since Lost Cause came out, so like 2 years, 3 years now, we've been working on the next fucking album, and it's just all kinds of different songs all over the place. A hip hop song, a fucking singer songwriter track, a fucking folk track, a fucking crazy dubby metal fucking song, some straight up West Coast hip hop shit. It's like so all over the place.
Oh wow.
That's the way I love it, So
yeah, I'm excited.
it's gonna be a super weird album, and I'm like, I don't know, it's either gonna be like this people are either gonna be like, damn, this is like so many different types of things. I love this shit, or they're gonna be like, pick a fucking sound, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, either way, it's gonna be me expressing myself, which is the whole fucking
right.
point.
Which is
So
not like necessarily, I think you'd mentioned like, you know, why did I don't want to be confined to one genre
yeah,
type
but
of
it also is important to have somewhat of a steady sound.
continuity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I mean,
continuity.
Stick Figure, perfect example. Stick has been doing, the same thing for like 4 fucking albums, you know what I mean? And it's, obviously he's fucking dope. Scott's fucking amazing with his melody writing, his fucking production, everything's just insane, and that dude is fucking gifted. Um and a lot of people think that that is a very, very good route to take, is pumping out a consistent fucking sound. And I don't know if that's anything that I'll ever be able to do, because I just I start the song and it comes out however the fuck it comes out, like I used to be pinpointed on like, oh, it has to have a skank so that it's reggae.
Right.
You know what I mean? It has to have that fucking guitar, that chick chick,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
has to
yeah.
have that so it can still be reggae. And now I'm like, dude, whatever the fuck goes, you know what I mean? It's either gonna sound cool or it's not. It's either gonna feel right or it's not. So I'm trying to do what feels right to me, whether it is reggae or not reggae or whatever.
I like
So
that.
yeah, so you're gonna see a lot of hip hop, a lot of fucking even like some kind of like not new metal, but like just shit that I like. I listen to everything.
Right.
I love fucking hip hop. I love 90s West Coast rap. I love fucking Easy E. I love Ice Cube. I love
I love Easy too. We were
I
me
also
I just saw a friend from high school and I started going back through like all the 90s shit because we grew up
yeah,
on like Cypress Hill, the Funky Phil and
yep,
all that. Like I was in high
yep,
school in the 90s. I graduated in 93 and
yep,
man, I sent him a song, Black Korea, Ice Cube, and I was like, could
yep.
you imagine what fucking people would say today if they heard that? Like,
Oh, bro, everything from back then, everything from the
it was
fucking
wild.
Snoop especially.
Oh yeah, but that's what we listened to. And now I look at it and I go, just because we live in this totally different time, but it was perfectly acceptable back then. But
Yep.
I think about being 15 and 16,
Well,
getting my parents to take me to get the CD, and then I'm listening to it in the car with them, and they're probably thinking, "Oh my gosh."
I don't know if
What?
I would say perfectly acceptable. That might be a little loosely thrown around there. I think, yeah, I don't know. A lot more trouble with the law back in the day for sure. Now it's like propaganda to be like making sure that, oh, you can say whatever you want, nobody will be upset, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and you know what I mean.
We want to include everyone.
Yeah, back then it was just like, fuck all them, fuck you. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. Don't ever try to put a damper on my fucking freedom of speech. I think that's why I love the '90s, like '90s music so much, man. It was the first time where people were saying whatever the fuck they wanted, and the entire country was just like, what the fuck is this? And especially
Fucking
like super conservative people and
Two Live
older.
Crew.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
grew up
older
I
folks
grew
at
up in a
the time.
town of like 462 people
Yeah,
that probably had 5, 6 churches
yeah.
and so you could imagine when Two Live Crew came out. They actually we have a place here. It's called the Oil Palace. It's a small
Yeah,
venue, used to be whatever, but they actually banned Ozzy Osbourne. They wouldn't let him come play a show
yeah,
because like they thought he was the devil.
yeah. And
I
now
was
you got fucking wet ass pussy being the top of the Billboard charts for fucking an entire year or something in fucking 2017. You know what I mean? It's
it's
just wild how the times change.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think in some terms it's changed for the better, especially like, being able
Yeah.
to see somebody like I think like you're grinding it out doing yourself. I don't think I feel like I saw it as much back in the day. I think there was this thing of when people wanted to be musicians, the goal was always like get
Get a record deal.
signed, yes, get a record deal, get signed to
Yep.
a major label and
Yep.
um it seems like kind of some people are stepping away from that whole kind of corporate, you know, they want more
Yeah.
control of their own shit,
Yeah.
you
I would
know?
never sign away my shit to anybody.
And not
Fuck
only
that.
that, but like,
Fuck that.
we want you to wear this, we, you know,
Fuck no. Never in a million fucking years. Fuck no. Hell no.
that's one
I
of
actually
the
I have some friends in a band that like they were told like, oh, you can't wear flip flops on stage anymore. You can't have this kind of guitar. And I'm like, what the fuck? Hell no. I don't give a fuck what you can do for me or how many fucking dicks you think I'm gonna suck, bro.
that's fucking bananas.
Tell me I can't wear fucking. It's
Flip
wild.
flops.
It's very, very wild. It's pretty crazy, man. But if I don't know, man. I mean, there's at some point there's like a how far are you willing to go? You know what I mean? Fucking aspect to it too. You know, like how much of your soul are you willing to sell? You know,
Yeah.
are you willing to let somebody tell you what the fuck to wear to automatically be added to the first song you hear on Sublime Radio through Pandora for fucking a month? Like, you know what I
Do they
mean?
still have Pandora?
Oh yeah. Well, no, yeah. I'm just saying like that's the power
Mm.
that record labels have, man. Is like there's four big ones like in our scene. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna name them because nobody cares and nobody wants to think that I'm talking shit about anybody in particular. It's just the way
Yeah.
of the beats, and there's like four big ones that control our entire like Cali reggae scene, and they have the power to, if you're signed with them and you drop new music, it'll be the first thing to show up when you go to like Sublime, Slightly Stupid, Revolution. Like their new song pops on first just by having those relationships with those fucking streaming services, Pandora, Spotify, whatever. The beach, the playlists on Spotify that millions of people that are on the beach with their family and their kids, like, oh, let's put on some reggae, beach vibes, boom, done. You know what I mean? And that's like, it's the same shit as the radio, just on the fucking internet. You know what I mean? The radio
Yeah.
plays what they want you to hear. Real Big Fish sang all about it. And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's all systematic, bro. It's as much as I would like to think that you know you have to be fucking phenomenal in every department to beat this fucking system now. You have to be absolutely fucking mind-blowing, and to not play the game, your fucking music has to be really, really fucking good, and you have to be a total fucking phenom to either work around the system or to dominate it. And like what I've heard a lot about, that's why part of why Sublime will always be one of my favorite bands. I've heard numerous fucking occasions, like I feel like I know fucking pretty much everybody that had to do with Sublime at this point, with their record labels and their success and everything, their managers, their fucking everybody that's known them over the past fucking 30, 40 years before Brad passed. And it's like, that's one thing that I hear from everybody was their music was so good that they did not have to play the fucking game. You know what I mean? And if I can make some shit that's so fucking good that I don't have to suck anybody's fucking dick or sign any papers that I don't want to, then I'm going to try to do that. And if I can't do that by being talented or writing amazing music, then I'm going to try to do that by working my motherfucking face off, and grinding the shit out of every opportunity given to me. So it's not a hating on the labels thing. It's just wanting to go a different route.
Yeah, kind of like a principle. Like, I
I
mean,
respect businesses, man. I respect,
yeah.
I respect anybody that wants to, do things a certain way, and especially me. Like, I'm a control freak, bro, and I understand that shit more than anybody, is wanting your bands under your name to represent you a certain way, or to not piss off the wrong people, or to be appealing to the masses, but I don't know. I guess there's something. I feel like I feel like whatever I'm making has to be fucking pure. And for it to be pure, some people aren't going to like it, and that's fine.
So before we end the interview, is there anything you want as you continue to tour? And of course you've upgraded now, which helps with the driving situation. Is there anything you want to do are you trying to implement anything, look into anything that's going to make for better tour life, whether it's more balance, I guess you could
Yep.
say?
1000%. So my main goal this year is to not play in fucking bars anymore. No more fucking bar gigs. Live music venues only. fucking 300 cap rooms that are fucking made for live music with good sound systems. I don't want to play in any more fucking bars. I don't want to play in any more fucking restaurants. And I don't want to play anywhere else without fucking green rooms and parking. So if the venue cannot provide, if it is not a music venue, if it does not have a green room for us, if it is a bar or a restaurant that is open during the day while we're trying to load in and people are fucking with us while we're loading in, or if they don't have a green room or parking, I don't want anything to do with it. So that is my current goal right now, is to get into bigger, more professional venues where people will not tell me, oh, you have to go here, you have to go here. Why the fuck are you playing at this place? You should go to this place down the street, because I hear that every motherfucking night. And I'm trying, like, it's not up to me, bro. Like, I'm just going wherever the fuck they tell me to go,
Right.
So I urged my agent this year for that to be a priority. Like, please, no more fucking venues that are open during the day, because you get there at 3:30, you're fucking exhausted from the drive and the night before, and you have to get everything inside. And like, this last run was like, fuck, dude. Like, some of these places were like restaurants where there was people eating, and we had to like slide our shit like around them, like, while we're trying to get all of our gear into the fucking room. And it's like, this fucking sucks, dude. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't think that an artist that is selling out a venue or selling fucking 150 tickets, or is the reason why their place is going to be packed out tonight, should be told, like, not to make noise, not to fucking, I don't know. It might just be an ego thing. I don't think it's fucking ego, man. I think that if we're selling out a venue, we should pretty much be able to do not anything harmful, but whatever we want in there. You know what I mean? If I
Right.
need to set up my drums, if Scotty needs to set up his drums at fucking 4:30 because it's the only way that it's going to work in our schedule, and you want us to wait until 6 o'clock, like, we can't play at fucking restaurants anymore. Fuck that. You know what I mean? So little things like that. We were on this last tour, we had a waitress tell Scotty he couldn't bring his pizza in while we were like setting up merch, and we were like, we sold this place out tonight, so you can get fucked. You know what I mean? Or literally the last show of the tour, I'm in the bathroom shaving because I didn't have, we don't have any green rooms or anything. So I'm in the bathroom, and the fucking, one of the dudes that worked at the place walked in. He's like, hey, bro, you can't be shaving in here. And I was like, I thought he was fucking with me. And I was like, that's real funny, man. Ha, and he's like, I'm dead serious, bro. You got to stop shaving right now. And I was like, there's 150 people coming to see me here tonight. So like, I don't know if you want me to like just finish shaving, or I can stop and we can bounce, and like the entire fucking world will light you up. Like, it's totally up to you, dude. Like, so I don't want to be in situations like that ever again, where I'm told not to eat, or not to set up drums, or not to make noise, or not to shave. I will fucking avoid those kind of places at all costs, and I never want to fucking play in a fucking bar or a restaurant ever again.
Those are good goals. And if they help with
Yeah.
your mental health and
Oh,
how
dude.
you
Yeah.
see things going, because that's a lot of frustration.
It's nuts.
Like
The
you
shit that we
said, I
deal with.
mean, everybody's coming to see you, and they don't even allow you to shave
Wild.
or have a
Fucking
space for you, or say you can't bring your
parking,
pizza in. That's
parking,
fucking nuts.
parking.
Yeah,
Not giving
that's
us a place to park when we have a fucking 32-foot setup.
yeah. Did you
Like,
have you guys ever played South by Southwest?
no,
Okay.
no, never.
Um, I remember we had friends from Sacramento that back in the day, like early 2000s, they used to tour around, and when they would come to South by, we would follow them kind of around the state, and God, some of the
Yeah,
trying to unload like some little shitty alley off of like 6th Street, like it's bananas,
yeah.
and
It's
it's
not.
like how the hell do they even expect like
A three
or
band to
or
play
they want you to get out of there, but it's like, you know, drum kits don't take just a couple of seconds
that. Yeah.
to break
Well,
down and Tetris everything in there, and to get it like you want it, where you don't feel like you're being rushed.
oh, that'll never happen. Yeah, you'll always be rushed no matter what. It's just it's just the nature of the beast, man. You will always be rushed as a musician. You will always fucking you will always be rushed somewhere, whether it's the band that's going on after you, whether it's you going to the next town, you will always fucking be rushed no matter what. It is a very, very fast paced, fucking psychotic fucking way of life, dude. And you have to be totally insane to fucking live it, you know?
You embrace it versus like fear it
Yeah.
versus letting it cause you the anxiety of like, fuck, I gotta be
Yeah.
here and then I gotta be here. Or,
I mean, either do it or don't, you know?
I like it. I
Either do
like
it
it.
or don't, you know? And whether I guess maybe I just live anxiously so much because there's always so much to do, or I've just, once you get to a point of repetition and just doing the same thing over and over, it's like, all right, dude, like no matter what, we're gonna get there. You know what I mean? Like either we get there or we fucking crash and burn, and no matter what, like we're doing the right steps. Like we've had times where, I've had to cancel shows because of getting snowed in or shit
Right.
like that. It's just like, what can you do? The only thing that's gonna stop us from getting to a show, me or any of my fucking four or any of my four crew members. I'm sorry, yeah, four now, so five including me. Any of the five of us, the only thing that's going to keep us from getting to another show is like severe fucking uh either natural disaster or some fucking crazy medical shit, which I fucking knock on wood isn't gonna happen anytime soon.
You need to take you a
Um,
portable urinal so you don't end up with kidney infections
Dude, yeah,
from
I
holding your
did
piss.
last year. I did last year, man. January 2023, man. Started off the Ayaterra tour with a brutal kidney infection from holding my piss so much while we were driving, and that was a big fucking wake up call because I was like, why did this happen? And I remember talking to the doctor, and he thought it was kidney stones at first, and he's like, how often? He's like, how much do you drive a day? And like, how often are you peeing? He's like, do you pull over when you got to pee, or do you hold it, or what? And holding my piss so fucking much gave me a fucking really gnarly kidney infection. And I was bleeding out of my dick when we were playing
Damn.
Black Sheep in Colorado Springs that night.
Fucking nuts.
I was hurting. I was really, really in bad shape. So after that tour, I was like, all right, bro, like change of priorities here,
Yeah.
change of fucking priorities. Stop killing yourself to try to make all the fucking times, like you'll get there when you get there.
So
So
I'm gonna ask you one last question.
yeah,
Um, at any point during this journey, did you ever consider throwing in the towel? And if so, how did you flip it back around because you're still here?
never,
Never.
never, not fucking once. Nope, never. I don't give a fuck what we have going on, dude. There's, what I mean? My mind's made up. Yeah, never.
That's
We have never been in a hopeless state of mind to where where it's like, what are we doing? Never once have I thought, what the fuck are we doing? Or, it
why the
is
fuck am I doing this?
yeah, I've never thought that once. Yep, my mind's been fucking made up since we started, dude. Straight up.
And that's probably why you are where you are.
I
And
hope so.
we'll continue to go even further, I'd imagine. I mean, it's just been, for me as a fan more so, um, it's just been great to see the journey and hear the music and, but for me, the music was the first kind of hook, and then kind of hearing your story and then kind of being able to relate to it and stuff was like yeah, and I know the last time I saw you guys with Drifting Roots, it was one of the best shows I had been to in a long time, and it changed a lot of things for me. In that, I almost didn't go. And I have the one picture with you and I have one with Matt. And
Yeah,
I purposely left. I didn't take out my phone all night and
yeah.
just tried to remain present. And it was awesome, and
Fucking dope, dude. Love
it
that.
took almost like the 2 hour drive home, probably just to calm down. Because I was like, for like 2 hours straight, I'm like driving. I don't even think I didn't listen to music, didn't listen to anything. I was just like, that show was so dope.
Silence.
Everybody was so cool, and
Oh yeah.
I felt like it was the first time in a long time that I was actually able to be myself, you know,
Good.
be
That's
the
awesome, man.
truest version of myself.
Fuck
And
yeah.
it was kind of one of these things, and you said so in the other interview, you know, when they ask you what does reggae mean to you and kind of love and whatnot. And, you know, that was what I felt there was like the community of people letting you be who you are, where you are at that point in time
Yep.
in your life, and
How
no
you are.
judgment. Yeah, no judgment, just
Yep.
acceptance, and just down, and they're there for the music, you know, there for the good time, there for the community. And so, you know, being able to meet everybody um at the VIP experience, and then, you know, unknowingly uh hanging out with Drifting Roots out back, chiefing out, and
Yep.
you know, it was just a great fucking time. And I enjoyed it immensely, and it kind of gave me something I needed back. Um Maybe that the corporate world took away from me.
Yeah.
You know, trying to conform. I felt like I
Yeah.
could actually be myself and be
Good.
free and dance a little bit, and so I'll kind of always remember that night as
Oh
something.
yeah. I love that. That's all. That's all we care about, man. Is making you feel good. You know.
Oh, you guys did. It was awesome. It was a great
Oh
time,
yeah.
and
If I can make you, you know, I want to make everybody forget about fucking reality for the hour and a half that they're at the show or the 2 hours that they're at the show. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on in life, I want to go so fucking crazy on stage that you can't even think about that shit.
oh, I
And
didn't. I
that's
didn't.
the goal.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Love
But
that. Good, man.
thank you again for coming on to the podcast.
Welcome, brother.
I have no idea. I had recorded and edited and dropped an episode last night, and I don't even know what made me. I'd kind of been thinking about this. I was like, one day I want to have Kyle Smith on the podcast, and
And I post that shit.
I was like, I didn't even see the post actually.
Oh, really? Nice.
No, I saw it this morning when I woke up because I went to bed at like I sent you the message. I went to bed at like 3 in the morning, 3:30,
Yeah.
and I had to get up at 5:45, and then I was like, oh shit. He said okay, and now there's a post and blah 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 blah. But it was kind of like you know, it resonates with me in that um kind of take risks, take chances.
Fuck yeah.
You know, maybe believe in yourself a little bit. You know, that kind of stuff.
That's 95% of it, dude.
And you know, something I kind of dreamt of doing is actually happening. So
Fuck
um
yeah, dude. I love that, man.
it's wild, you know. So like you said, you know, you don't see yourself the way other people see you, and you know, while may not be that big of a deal to you, it's a huge deal to me. One, because the show, and two, the people I met there, and you know how you did the VIP, and then you know now being able to interview you and just kind of talk to you, and um about something maybe different than what you normally talk about, you know, because I know a lot of people are always interested in the other parts in the story, and
Always so different, you know. You never get
yeah,
the you never do the same interview twice, man. It's always everybody's got, you know. Some
that's
of them
cool.
are just all fun and games. Some of them are super deep and heavy and fucking
Yeah,
gnarly, and yeah, it's always different. So
well,
I'll
that's cool,
talk about
man.
fucking anything, bro.
All right, man. I gotta get to the wife and daughter, but thanks again. And next time
Yeah.
you're in
Thanks for
Texas,
everything. Appreciate you, man.
I'll come see you.
Yeah, brother. We'll see you soon, man.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, buddy. Later.
So call me when you're back in California. Let me know and I'll